settle in and listen to our mixtape and know the music vanishes. Enjoy your buttons sandwiches.
Get the sillies out. Get the sillies out.
Well, everyone, we are back. Yes, we're back again to do this show, which is called The Mixtape. I had to look down at the name. I did. I looked down. We're here to do The Mixtape. I'm Jason Emmett.
I'm Casey Masterpiece.
And I'm... Forget it's green screen now, dude.
You know what's funny, guys? Like, we've been sitting here bullshitting for almost an hour, and like I'm fine. And the second we go to record, my nose itches, and I'm like, and we're on video, so I have to watch it because a lot of times I do this thing where I just grab my nose and like
you know,
pull the booger straight out.
That because I just scratch my face like while recording all the time, and I feel like people out there think I'm like some sort of drug addict.
Anyway, on this episode, hold on.
Oh God.
I don't know what the hell kind of show we're doing anymore.
Matt's like, I don't know what's wrong with you guys. I just have a suppository, and like I always do.
Got my adult diapers on, ready to just pee while we record. Yeah,
I'm just high on life. Come on.
We actually have a really interesting episode this week, and I'm curious.
Now my nose itches.
I'm not gonna lie, it's a little creepy putting this episode together for me download this stuff. We're gonna play music this week, but I don't think we'll get in trouble for it. Who knows? We don't know what the rules are.
Recognizable. Yeah.
So I want to kind of bring this up.
If it gets flagged, we'll find out real quick.
It'd be a weird flag. Right. So I want to talk about backmasking. I want to talk about backwards evil songs and shit this week. It's something that
songs that sound like that. Worship Satan, worship Satan, worship Satan.
I love Satan. It's
like the clearest part of the album.
Really clear.
Wow.
Paul died last week.
Kill your parents.
Last week.
I think there might be a message in this song.
This entire episode is getting flagged for various reasons.
So I do want to talk about it because when I was a kid, this was a big thing for me, and I bet for Matt too, and probably because of how we were raised and the time period we were raised in.
Yeah.
And a lot of people think that this whole thing started in 1973 because of The Exorcist. Now, I'd never really known this until I went back and did some research. But in The Exorcist, they have a tape that has this like garbled speech in it where she's possessed. And when they play it backwards in the movie, they realize, oh, she's actually saying something in English. And it was really in the 80s when the whole backmasking thing started taking off, and then they went back to all these old songs and started pulling them out of their butts and going, listen to this one.
Yeah.
So I thought it'd be fun to
totally
talk about.
Says things that we don't want you to hear about. We're going to suppress all this.
Okay. So what I want to do for you guys on some of these, now I know, Matt, you're going to be like, I already know what this one supposedly says, but I thought it would be kind of fun to talk about the song and the artist, but to play you guys some of the clips first and see what you hear. And then we'll say what people say the songs actually say. I thought that might be kind of a fun way to do this for the most part. We only have 5 we're going to play, and then we're going to talk about a few others. And I'm not going to play the songs forward because we would get flagged. And 2,
we'll tell you the title,
but we know the songs.
Yeah.
So the first one I want to start off with is probably one of the most famous ones, and this is Stairway to Heaven, Led Zeppelin, 1971. Came off their 4 album, or as people like to call it, the 4 album. It's really not titled. They had 4 albums. Their first 4 albums were not titled. It was 1, 2, 3, and 4. The song to me is weird anyway, like forward. It always felt a little evil forward. So yeah, I mean, if you know the song, if you know Stairway to Heaven, it's pretty twisted and evil just the way it is. If you read about what the song's about, it doesn't really, I don't think they're really trying anything. They talk a lot about the structure of the music and how it was actually written by a couple of them, and how hard it was to do some of the stuff live because they were kind of trying some cool structurally music stuff. But
yeah, and they had to make sure that if you played it backwards live, it sounded the same.
Yeah. Yes. So what I want to do is I want to play you guys the black words.
The black words.
The
Okay.
black word. The black word is. I feel
What
like
is
we
it?
need.
Say
I feel
it.
like we need to call In Living Color.
Say it.
No. Do you guys remember the password? The show password. The
Yeah.
password is. I feel like In Living Color needs to do a skit now. Where it's like the black word.
Well, they need
is,
to
and they have,
bring In Living Color back. Then they can do a
have.
skit.
Yeah, that's what I
Right.
mean.
Yeah.
They have like Damon Wayans sitting there, and then they have some nerdy white guy on the other side, and Damon Wayans says some like Ebonic word, and the guy's trying to figure out what the hell it means. Like, it's like, I don't know. I'm getting nervous. Okay.
Oh, Jim Carrey, you being the guy. You're feeling a little
Yes.
nervous. That,
Come
you
on,
see,
that would've been
that's
fun.
yeah, that's
Brilliant.
that's
That's
perfect
so.
comedy right there.
Damon, bring back In Living Color anyway.
Mhm.
Just do it because
That'd be fun. We need it.
Yeah, why not?
Ooh, dude, they should do a new season of In Living Color.
Yeah, Tommy Davidson's just still on it. What's he doing right now?
Him,
SW1.
David Allen Greer.
Get J-Lo back to be a fly girl again.
SW1. Sean just forsakes his name and comes back as SW1.
Right.
Actually, that would be the best if he did that. I'd be
I'm
like,
sure he
well,
still
great.
has like the mixing equipment and everything. He just comes
Oh,
back.
probably.
Isn't it weird
Yeah.
that they started off with Sean Wayans as their DJ and now he's
Yeah.
Sean Wayans? Like, it's
Yeah.
so weird. Guys, actually, if you go back a little ways, we actually did a whole episode on In
Yep.
Living Color and Mad
Versus
TV.
Mad
So you
TV.
should go
Yep.
back and check that one out.
That was the one
exists
where
in
we
our-
talked about Stu being a fly guy.
But you should go back and check it out because it was a great episode. We had a lot of fun talking about it. Those were shows we used to love. But right now we're talking about Stairway to Heaven, and I don't remember what I was saying, but backwards. So I'm going to play the clip, and I want you guys to tell me what you hear. Not Matt, not what you know people have said they say. What you hear, and here you go. Here's the first clip. It'll play twice. So I'm not gonna lie, I hear it.
It goes a little longer than that too, because
Yes, but that's just the famous line. So did you guys hear anything in that?
I made out the word "my."
Okay, let me ask you this first, Kev. Do you know what the song supposedly says backwards?
No.
Perfect. Matt, you do though.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, Matt, did you hear it?
Yes.
Knowing what it supposedly says backwards, did you hear it? But
Yes.
Kevin, you didn't hear it. You heard "my," which is part of it. All right. So here's what they say it says backwards. They say it says, "Oh, here's to my sweet Satan." Or some people say it says, "Kiss my sweet Satan." But, "Oh, here's to my sweet Satan." Now I'm going to play it again and tell me if you hear it, Kev.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, now I kind of hear it.
The one whose little path would make me sad, whose power is Satan.
So the question comes, did somebody, it does sound like "Here's to my sweet Satan." To me, I hear it, but would I have heard it had somebody else not told me that that's what I was listening for? Like, I don't know. That to me is a question on a few of these, but some of these are very clear. Like, oh my God, I hear that. And then one or two, I'm like, I don't know what the fuck.
Maybe he would say, "Here's to my sweet Santa." You know,
Yeah.
you ever thought about that?
Yeah. The little path that made me sad is that he didn't bring me a present this year.
Yeah.
Whose
you know
power
that-
is Santa.
Do you know that this whole thing got so bad that at one point, I'm not making this up, I should have went and tried to find it, but that a pastor actually said that the Mr. Ed theme backwards said stuff in it.
Oh God, Satanic Panic during the 80s was goofy. We did a episode on that and just how stupid that era was.
And you're gonna find with the songs we talk about today, most of them do fall back to the Satanic Panic to the degree that a lot of these I can point. We're gonna have information about how they were attacked. This one though is a weird song in general.
Horses though are just inherently evil, so I could see why they would think that about Mr. Ed, because that's of the devil.
Did you know that they? Did you know they made a fucking pilot for a Mr. Ed TV show in like the 90s?
I did. Yeah.
It didn't work, but I was like,
because
what
obviously,
I
why would you do
part of
that?
it. And I'm like, oh my God, I never knew this existed. And why did they think this was a good idea?
The 90s were a weird time. They brought back a lot of shows in the
Really
90s
That
from
might be
like
a fun,
50s
it
and
might be a
60s.
fun kind of episode to be like show like we talked about I've watched the Coming to America pilot. It's not good. I did watch clips the other day of I didn't know they did this, but they did a pilot for Beverly Hills Cop where Eddie Murphy and I don't know if you guys have watched Axel F. I actually enjoyed it. It was fun.
I've not. I've heard it's really good.
In it, he has a daughter, but in the pilot, he had a son. And he's in it. Eddie Murphy's in the pilot. So is Judge Reinhold. And it's not the stuff I watched wasn't bad. It just never got picked up. Yeah. They were kind of handing the reins over to his son, but Eddie Murphy's in the pilot enough to kind of like help steer it where it needs to go. And they did some interesting stuff. I want to say like 2013, 2014, somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
You should check it out. Like at least you can go online and watch somebody like put together all the scenes that had Eddie Murphy in it.
It was 2013.
Yeah, and it's pretty interesting, and it wasn't bad. It just didn't get picked up. I was like, this could have been an interesting show.
Got a 7.10 or 7.2 out of 10.
Yeah, it's not what I watched of it isn't bad.
Directed by Barry Sonnenfeld too.
I'm telling you, what I watched of it, not bad at all. It kind of was funny and entertaining.
It's a TV movie. That's what I'm saying.
But the new movie they changed quite a bit. So. From what they did, now he has a daughter, not a son, and it's not bad. It's actually a pretty good follow-up to him. He really did fan service in it, which I thought was nice. So the next one, I don't have a ton of information on this one, but I thought it was funny that this one even gets brought up. The next one is 1974, El Dorado by Electric Light Orchestra. Honest to God, the album's the same name as the song. Honest to God, guys, I'm gonna play. I love Electric Light Orchestra, and if you guys don't know, they're happy band. Sometimes they're sad songs.
Chicago.
Sad songs.
I was thinking I was like, is this the song that they played in Little Nicky? Played it backwards, but that was Chicago that they played.
Oh, I should have done that one, but I didn't. Yeah. But here's the thing: I'm gonna play this for you guys. This is one of the ones that to me just sounds like a jarbled mess. But I want to see if you guys hear anything.
I haven't
Matt,
heard of this one. I don't think I've ever heard the song forward.
Supposedly say in the song. I was curious. So, all right, here is the backwards version of the clip from El Dorado.
All right.
And it will play it again.
Got some soul to it, though.
It does. Part of it sounds a little like Bowie.
A little bit.
Okay, get ready. It's going to play a second time. Or maybe I only did this one once. I don't remember. I think I only played it once.
All right. The TARDIS is to warm up.
Here. That's pretty much it. That's all that it supposedly says. So you guys hear nothing.
Now, I hear words, but it just you can't tell what they're saying.
So I hear it, but again, I know what he's supposed to be saying or what people are hearing. So what people claim they hear is he is the nasty one and Christ, you're infernal. So if you listen, it'll go, he is the nasty one, Christ, you're infernal. That's what you're going to hear. I'll play it again for you guys. See if you hear it this time. He is the nasty one and Christ, you're infernal.
And I'll put all this down underneath there. I'll caption it.
Have little subtitles.
To me, it's a stretch.
It's a big stretch, but
Christ, you're fertile.
Christ, so you're fertile.
You're going to hear a break, and then it's going to go right back into it again. That's a little just extra shit. All right, here goes. And it starts right with it. So. To me, I hear he is nasty one. Christ, your phone off.
First off, what jackass sat there and listened to every song they could think of backwards?
So that is the point I'm making this, and I make it after the
next just high as shit.
This was before the internet.
my notes on the next song literally say, my question is, what kid is playing this stuff backwards just cuz? Like, hey guys, let's play this song backwards and see what happens.
Yeah.
Like, it just
Maybe we
doesn't- like,
summon a
no kid.
demon. Maybe nothing happens. I don't know.
And do you know when it started? When people started saying, if this song's backwards, you hear shit, all the kids went home and were like, let's do
Yep.
this. No one was doing it before that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And
I don't.
album sales skyrocketed.
I
Mhm.
hear the words if I want to. So, like, I hear him say, "Oh, you're nasty." I hear nasty,
Mm.
but Christ or he is the nasty one. It could just be "Yeah, nasty one." Like, I'm like, it could. You're making words.
I feel like backmasking was sort of like the magic eye for the ears sort
It's
of
a
thing,
schooner,
you know?
you dumb bastard.
Yeah.
It's a schooner. Do you guys see the sail ship or sailboat? It's not a sailboat. It's a schooner. Sorry, it's so good. I'm really good at those magic eyes. I just so we're clear. I can
I've
see
never been good at those.
really. I can.
I may
Usually
have gotten like one out of like the hundreds I try to look at.
Oh, I'm pretty good at them. I've learned how to make my eyes go out of focus enough to do it. It's probably why my eyesight sucks today.
Yeah,
I've
it's like
spent hours.
I
All us
blame
kids,
most of my eye problems on
I was
magic
gonna
eye posters.
all of us who wear glasses now, so we were staring at books of magic eye back in the
from
90s.
this far away, like, oh, I see it.
And then we
it's
were trying to
dolphins
find
jumping out of the
Waldo.
ocean.
Am I supposed to see
Yeah.
Waldo in this? They should have made a magic eye Waldo.
Magic eye
book.
Waldo.
First, you see the people, then you got to find Waldo in that.
Have you seen the meme where it's a doctor delivering a baby? He's like, it's a where the hell did it go? He's like looking all around. He looks up at the parents, and the father is Waldo, and the mom is Carmen Sandiego.
That's pretty great. No, I have
So
not.
sad.
Seen
That's a
that.
good one.
All right, so we're moving up to 1980. One of my favorite bands of all time, Queen, and this is another one, Bites the Dust. Now, I'm sure Matt knows
Never
what this
heard it.
song supposedly says. Really? You don't know? You're gonna hear it.
No, I know
This
it.
one-
I'm just
this
saying I've
one
never
is
heard
the
this
most-
insanely famous song.
No, I thought you meant you've never heard the backmasking part.
No, I've heard both. Yeah, I'm familiar.
I'm gonna say out of all the
It's
ones,
stupid, but okay.
out of all the ones, I hear this one and the next one the most. To me, they are like, oh, this one is almost compellingly like, huh.
Maybe they did it intentionally. Yeah.
It would have been weird. So, if you guys don't know, Forward, the song tells the tale of Steve. We first think he's like a mobster because we hear, machine guns ready to go. But in the end, it's actually seems to be referring to a failed relationship, and the whole thing's just an analogy, So I'm going to play what people say they heard backwards. I'm not going to tell you once again, because I'm curious, Kev, what you hear backwards. If you hear what they say it says, I'm going to be shocked if you don't hear it, to be honest. This one's going to play. I'm only going to play it once because they say it multiple times, and that's all they say. So here you go. Ready?
Mhm.
Something with marijuana.
It's fun to smoke marijuana.
Okay.
So my questions about all that, to me, that's very clear. It's fun to smoke marijuana. It's fun to smoke marijuana.
Which even
Like that-
backwards, there's parts of that song that sound identical, which is weird.
and they're still catchy as hell. You're over here going,
it's like
fun to smoke marijuana. And you're going, who? Somebody needs to write the It's Fun to Smoke Marijuana song.
it's the Weird Al version.
They're I don't know, man. My whole thing is, if you know Freddie Mercury, the way that I know Freddie Mercury, we're very close.
Yeah. It's called
I don't
Fred.
think he would have, if he wanted to sing about smoking marijuana, I'm pretty sure he would have just done it. I don't think he was ever trying to hide anything to anybody. But it's not going to shock you guys. Ready? The satanic panic of the 80s, the early 80s, Christian and evangelicals claimed that they were hiding subliminal messages in this song because they wanted, all the teens to smoke marijuana. Yeah.
Because it would highly benefit Queen, one of the biggest bands in the world at the time.
So
For some
here's
reason.
the thing. They actually do play a portion of the piano in the song is actually played backwards in parts of it for reals. But it's weird to me that they would go after, like, well, that song's about death. It's Another One Bites the Dust. We should play it backwards. Oh my God, they're telling our kids to smoke pot. Like, it's just so weird to me that
I
they are
remember-
going.
I hear Cool Cat played backwards is, telling about sacrificing your parents.
I remember saying this like during our Satanic Panic episode, but I'll say this again. But this was during this time period. This is the first time I realized that adults are dumb. You know what I mean?
We're saying that as adults who are currently dumb.
Yeah. But back then, when I was like
Back
5
then,
years
they were
old,
just extra stupid.
like when my aunt was trying to convince me the Smurfs were of the devil.
Oh, my parents
I
too.
love this story, but
I was
My
like,
parents too.
no, that's stupid. No, that's
My parents,
no.
they were told at church that the Smurfs held Beelzebub around a giant pit in one episode. I have yet to see that episode. I don't remember.
I wanted to
No.
see it.
I mean,
shit, the Necronomicon is in the Care Bears movie.
Is it? Because that's awesome.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was a weird thing. The Satanic Panic.
Look that
That's
up,
when
too.
my parents were really steeped in church at the time, and I
Mm.
remember, man. After this next clip, I'm going to talk about something that I vividly remember. It scared the shit out of me as a kid because I was, I don't know, 10, and I remember something happening in my house, and I remember going to church and having these guys get up and talk. For a minute, for about maybe a year, we went to a really like kind of almost like, although we were in the suburbs of Dayton, it was almost like backwards Baptist church. It was freaky. And I remember these guys that were ex like metalheads talking about like, I was listening to such and such at night, and then like I remember the room just went dark, and like these shadows started coming, and I'm like, as a kid, I'm like, oh my God. I was freaking out. It was a weird thing, man. Like how it gripped people, and then later we found out literally all of it was bullshit.
right.
All the stuff they were saying was all made up. Again, like these guys
People
said,
went,
we did.
people went to prison. People went to prison over that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
they
we
were
won't even
claiming
go
all-
into the West Memphis 3, but look into that if you don't know anything about it.
Yeah,
That
and
people went to prison for potentially life sentences and the death penalty over
but they were
bullshit.
literally making shit up with no evidence to back it. Like all these claiming these daycares had like underground tunnels, and they were like sacrificing children. It was weird, and it all started because of one pastor who just started making fake allegations.
Yep.
And so then they were after everything. And Music Buddy, we've talked about in the Satanic Panic episode, we talk about it. Also, we did a Filthy 15 episode where we talked about the songs put on the band list. It is so weird, the stuff they went after. Like some of it made sense, but some of it just didn't. And like, we're not going to take it. Like they went after, we're not going to take it. It's not, there's nothing bad in that. It's so
No.
bizarre. And they went after these songs and started saying, and like I said, the belief is that the whole backwards stuff started because of The Exorcist. That's what gave them the idea. Like, well, maybe we should play stuff backwards and see if it has hidden messages. What's even weird,
There's a whole thing that I just don't understand entirely, which we kind of talked about it a little bit, is like the deeply religious watching things and partaking in things that are exactly the opposite of what they believe and then bitching about it.
they're doing it
Mhm.
so they can protect you, Matt.
I'm fine. I
Yeah.
turned out okay.
Wow.
Pause for response. Yeah. It's like, I'm all right.
You with your
what's bizarre
Elvira Funko Pops. You know,
But
just
somebody
right
sat
behind
down.
you.
Somebody sat down, right, with a presumably, because this is the 80s, early 80s, with a fucking notebook and a pen,
Mhm.
and they probably took the 45 of a song and thumbed it backwards because they didn't have a studio. I don't know how they were playing the shit backwards otherwise.
Yeah.
I think some record players actually had a reverse function, I think.
Some
And then
did.
they
Not
listened
many.
to it over and over and said, that kind of sounds like Satan.
Yeah.
Now, it
I'm
kind of
sure they weren't going, that smells like Satan. Yeah.
They were
Because very
like, I
hypocritical
like
people
wearing
doing that.
satin. Did you hear him?
Yep. He
I
said
like
Satin.
being with
He said-
Satan.
Worship Satin.
And
Which
I'm gonna get
consequently
into that.
somebody actually graffitied that on Divine's headstone. They put Hail Satin because it just misspelled Satan, and it
Pretty
just
sure they misspelled it. It was divine.
theoretically, yeah. Which got
They
John
they
Waters
might
right there too.
they might actually have meant hail
Hail
Satin.
Satin.
Yeah, that's a good
Like, it's
possibility.
very
yeah.
possible.
Mm.
So I'm going to talk about the next song for a second, because this is going to spur a whole bunch for me. And a point that we were just talking about is going to come. Like, I want to wait till this one to talk about it because of the ridiculous nature of we hear what we want to hear sometimes. And I can prove it not on this next song, but something connected to this next song. So the next song we're going to talk about is another just genuinely weird song anyway. It comes from 1968. It's off the White Album. This is Revolution 9 by the Beatles. So, parents already hated those evil lads from Liverpool. And I guess
Look at them with their
Shaq.
long hair.
they
Their
simply
Nehru
must have been trying
jackets.
to influence our children. Because unlike Wu-Tang, they were not all about the kids. Revolution 9 is this weird kind of jumbled mess of a song anyway. There's music and noises and weird shit being done. They were experimenting, but evil, I'm not sure about that. The truth of this song is Yoko Ono had a hand in it. That is
Oh, there
100%
you go.
true. It was mostly John and Yoko with a little bit of Paul mixed in. They were experimenting. John Lennon has said like he was trying to paint a picture of revolution using sound and
and
composition.
screams.
And he said he was influenced by the avant-garde style of Yoko Ono. So anyway, people started saying that backwards it had a message or two hidden in it. Clearly, this message must have been about Paul. So I'm going to play you guys. And this one's pretty clear to me, too, what people heard. Much like Another One Bites the Dust, this is just going to repeat. I'm only going to play it once because it's going to repeat the same line over and over. And again, if you don't know what it supposedly says, give me your thoughts after I play it. Here you go. All right, Kev, I see your face twitching. What do you think it says?
Turn me on, women.
So you're close.
Okay.
But that's the argued point to me. Turn me on, dead man is what.
Okay.
It doesn't sound like dead man to me. It sounds more like red man. I know that sounds weird, but like Redman,
which
Redman,
Wu-Tang.
or Raymond, or yes, because this is turn me on, dead man. Turn me on, dead man is what people say. It says to me. It sounds like turn me on, Redman, or turn me on, Raymond. Here, I'll play it. Redman.
Yeah, I hear Redmond more.
Yeah. So that became a whole thing. So what happened is in 1969, this guy calls this Detroit radio station, and he starts to argue that the phrase "turn me on, dead man" can be heard in the song, and it just blew up after that. Like, that's why everybody's like, "Oh my God, the Beatles are talking about Paul again." And at this point, the Beatles are like, "Oh my God, we were in on the joke for a while, guys, but now it's just getting old."
Just
Actually
stupid.
started releasing the article saying, "Look, Paul's still with us. Please shut up, let it go." But this is the White Album, and we're getting close to the end of the Beatles anyway.
Yeah,
obviously Yoko Ono.
They had more than one backwards masking thing too. They had the Paul's a dead man, miss him, miss him, miss him.
Yeah,
that was that was one of them too that they did.
That's kind of where I wanted to spurt. It's so weird to think like you had the boys, the picture up, and you were like, "Oh my God, look how evil they look," but people hated them because of the influence they had on kids in the 60s.
That Ringo and his shark-like beady eyes just wanted to influence the youth.
By all accounts, just the nicest dude, though.
Dude, I actually just found this out today. I had no idea that George Harrison was stabbed 40 times when somebody broke into his house.
I didn't know that.
Damn. They held the dude down till the police got there. Yeah,
had no clue. 40 times.
Motherfucker lives through that, and then unfortunately he gets killed by, was it cancer that killed him? I don't know.
I think cancer.
Very sad. Also, supposedly a sweet dude, and I'll tell you, I watched the
nothing but good things about him.
I watched the docu series that they did on Disney Plus, the like multiple part docu series, and it's very hard to watch. First of all, I'm sorry, you're never going to convince me otherwise. There are so many scenes where Yoko like whispers in John's ear throughout the whole thing, and you can see the turmoil like that is developing. And poor Ringo, he's trying so hard to just keep everybody together, and it almost hurts your heart because he can tell things are falling apart, and he's trying so hard. And at one point, George just gets sick of it and leaves, and that he doesn't like talk to anybody for days. And they're like, we got to get George back in here, because they're trying to finish this album. They're talking about doing the rooftop concert, and it's crazy. So, oddly enough, John Lennon gets, like you said, the Beatles get more crap. John Lennon gets more crap. It was the song Starting Over. I don't have any clips of this, by the way, but the song because it's actually forward. There's a part in the song, the 1980 song, Just Like Starting Over by John Lennon, where they play this weird, like, wah, 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 wah stuff towards the end of the song, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not, I don't think it's actually backwards, but it's just real jarbled. So my story comes with, imagine this is 1980. So we're talking, but my point when this happened was probably closer to 1982, right? So I'm not even 10 at this point. And my parents are, like I said, real steeped in the church. And I don't know how it started, but somebody came over to our house. I don't remember who it was. And they were talking about how there were hidden messages in that jarbled speak. And I'm this kid in the other room, and they're playing it, and they're like, they are doing exactly that thing that I've made fun of, where they're like, do you hear what he's saying? I think he's saying, oh my God, did they just say I shot John Lennon, Mark David Chapman? I think, and it came out right before that actually happened. This song was released right like weeks before he was shot. And I remember hearing it as a kid, hearing this wah, 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 wah. It just freaking me the F out. Like, oh my God, there's demonic shit in that talking about him being killed. Clearly, it doesn't say that.
No.
But to make things even more interesting, on the B side of that 45, guys, was a Yoko Ono song called Kiss, Kiss, Kiss. It's a horrible song. It literally goes... Go ahead. I got to hear what you have.
Folks, if you're a Yoko Ono fan, please tell us why. Because
tell me why.
That's why you're listening to this horrible music. It's not really music at all. It's just screaming.
Oh, Yoko's horrible.
Yeah.
Yes. But on the B side of this 45 was a Yoko Ono song, Kiss, Kiss, Kiss. And it's horrible. The lyrics are like, kiss, 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 kiss me, love, kiss, kiss, kiss. Like, it's horrible. But of course, can't make this shit up. They then put that on, and they're like, backwards, it says 666. I'm like, or it says 666 because it's kiss, kiss,
kiss, kiss. Yeah.
But that's the stretch that they were going through. Like, everything must be...
Speaking of Kiss, though, did Kiss ever have anything that they got accused of playing backwards? Because you think that they would be...
I'm sure
a band that they would go after.
I'm sure. Well,
notice the bands that they went after, and they never went after, like, for Backwards Masking. Like Alice Cooper, Kiss, Black Sabbath.
Actually, they probably did. Well,
actually, Ozzy, I think they probably did, yeah.
Well, Ozzy, I think, was blatant about, like, why do I need to put it backwards? Here you go.
Mm-hmm.
But you're saying, notice the bands they went after. This hasn't stopped. There's even been accusations that like Taylor Swift has stuff hidden backwards, and Justin Bieber has stuff hidden backwards.
I think like Beyonce got accused of something backwards and being part of the Illuminati and whatnot.
Oh, the whole Illuminati thing. She makes the symbol of the triangle, which I think is the diamond cutter. I'm pretty sure she's doing the DDP.
Also something that her husband has done for a very long time.
Yeah.
The Hova.
Yeah. And I think, like, it's weird the lengths people go to.
Hova. Oh my God. I see the connections now. Just what?
But, with all that said, we're picking fun. But if I'm curious if any of you guys listening to this at home, if you feel this way, like, let us know, especially if you're watching this on YouTube. Let us know, like, drop some comments in, because it's not that I don't hear some of this stuff, but I don't hear it till you tell me to hear it. Like,
right.
I guess if I stretch, it's kind of like the human mind wants to see patterns.
They were trying to influence people.
The human mind is designed so that it notices patterns and creates things it's familiar with. There's
paranoia.
Thank you. And that's not to say I don't think sometimes people don't see a ghost but there have been so many times where I'm like taking a shit in my bathroom, staring at the wall, and I go, huh, that kind of looks like a shark on the wall or the door.
Huh.
Yeah, you get this
I
weird
spend way too much time on the toilet.
But you know what I'm saying. You're doing that, but you've been
You look in the
staring,
wood
like, you've been
grain of
sitting-
your 70s wall paneling in your basement and you go, I see Jesus.
Mhm.
He's in my toast.
Yeah.
It's either Jesus or Garfield.
Oh,
Yeah.
with that being said, and we have a couple more
Both
songs
of them
to
hate
talk about,
Mondays, you know.
but with that being said, because we
crucifixion.
just brought that up as a
Yeah.
joke,
Not really.
you know that on the alternative side of this, people have claimed to listen to Christian music backwards and have claimed it has positive messages. I should have pulled some of those. I did not. That would have been an interesting thing.
I'm very intrigued by that. Yeah.
But it's the same thing. It's just
Amy
very
Grant. Yeah.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that, Jay, because Darling Nikki had like a backmasking section, and you listen to it backwards. It's the Lord's Prayer, which was
For
weird.
real?
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I wish I would have found
Hang on.
Oh, you didn't know that?
Is it
Oh,
intentional? Was it intentional?
very much
okay.
so.
So that's
Okay,
something
cool.
that we'll talk about here too.
I mean,
Linkin
Missy
Park,
Elliott.
Nirvana,
Put
Linkin
your thing
Park,
down, flip it, and
Nirvana,
reverse it. And then
Pink Floyd, Weird Al, they have all purposely put messages backwards in songs, like on purpose. One of them did announcement, service public. I think it smells like Smells Like Teen Spirit. Has some purposely put in stuff. I Remember Larry by Weird Al has purposely put in backwards stuff. They did it on purpose. So that's happened over the years where people are like, oh yeah, watch this. I'm gonna purposely insert some stuff. By the way, out of all the Prince songs, he could have talked about Jesus, and that one seems like
yeah.
the weirdest.
Yeah, because that's a raunchy song, and then
It's
you get
really
to that backmasking, and it's the Lord's
Listen,
Prayer. And the reason
got-
why
I
I
gotta-
know that is because I had an old T-Bird that had a fucked up cassette player that played music backwards. So
Did you
when I'm
name it
driving,
Christine?
You got in a wreck and it just fixed itself.
You could call that T-Bird Christine, man, because it's just evil.
yeah,
Was it like eating men and chopping arms off?
it had a lot of weird features. I'll put it that way.
Power
It came-
windows,
it came
satanic
standard
tape
with-
players.
It came standard with the car.
It's like, wow.
So it
Analog
played it
brakes.
backwards, and you heard
and
it saying
Satan.
the Lord's Prayer.
Huh. Wow.
Is that literally what happened? You're like, oh my God, it's playing the Lord's Prayer.
It was weird when like you find that out, because it would also chew the f of my cassettes. But if I mean, if
You
I had
shouldn't
like
have been in that car, dude. That was gonna kill
You
you.
never know. Eat me and spit the cassette back at you like it. Oh God.
At first I thought it was an oil leak, but apparently it's leaking blood. Okay, I didn't know that. Oh well, this is normal. This is okay.
Oh my god.
Gotta get to school somehow. Okay.
So good. So good. Oh God.
That's all I can afford right now, guys.
But
The
yes,
car's
that's
the
the
devil.
thing. That's a thing where bands will actually purposely put stuff in backwards. I should have looked his name up too, guys. I feel really bad about it. I follow a guy on TikTok right now that he does some of his videos are he gets up with a guitar. He's like, I'm going to perform the song backwards to see if you guys can figure it out what it is. And he'll play it and sing it backwards. Like he learned how to sing it and play it backwards. And then he'll flip it around forward to see that's what it is, to see how close I am. That's what he says. So, and then he'll play it forward to see how close it gets to the actual song. It's pretty fun to watch, actually, because he's like, and sometimes it gets really close. So,
Yeah.
always
I
have
was gonna say,
mad people that learn.
Yeah. Stevie
Like Steve
T or Steve Terraberry on YouTube. He does a whole series where he takes like kids' songs and plays them backwards and things like that, where people think they hear other things. And
course
it'll
they
be
do.
something from like Peppa Pig. He'll play a little
Obviously,
clip of that. Yeah, it's always
Peppa
Peppa
Pig
Pig.
is evil.
Yeah.
Just
Pigs are of the devil as well.
They
I
are.
mean,
They
first of all, it's pork, so
Yeah.
that's natural. to
Exactly.
within the name, sex.
Yeah.
Pork. All right. So the next one
Don't trust
may
that
be.
swine. No.
I'm going to say this. The next one may be the most popular and yet the most ridiculous out of what they say. I actually don't even have a clip of it, and I'm going to tell you why I don't have a clip of it. Because all I could find was the entire song backwards, and I didn't want to go through the whole song to find two words that they claim. Better by you, better than me. says. Better by You, Better Than Me. I don't know if you guys knew this too. Judas Priest got in trouble for this because of their 1978 version of the song, but the original song came out in 1969 by a band called Spooky Tooth. They actually sang the song first. Judas Priest did a 78 version that got attacked by those darn evangelicals again, and that didn't happen until 1990. So we did talk about this on our Satanic Panic episode, but basically Judas Priest ended up having to go to court over this, actually going to court, and it was called the Subliminal Message Trial. A lawsuit alleged that the band's recording contained hidden messages which were responsible for influencing two young men to make a suicide pact in 1985. You see, their version of the Spooky Tooth song was faster, and it added a little vocal bridge. I don't know if that vocal bridge is the part where they claim it is, and like, why didn't Spooky Tooth get in trouble? I don't know. So in 1985, 20-year-old James Vance and 18-year-old Ray Belknap actually got drunk, or probably stoned too. They were under the influence, let's put it that way. And they went to a park and they attempted to take their own lives. I say attempted because Belknap succeeded, but Vance actually did not at the time. He shot himself in the face, had massive injuries, but he didn't die till 3 years later. 3 years after he dies, his parents sue the band, saying that backward the song says, God, do you know what they said it said, Matt?
I've heard it. I just can't remember exactly what it said.
Ready?
But it was
I'm gonna
something
do
like
it.
"Do it."
Full Palpatine voice, do it.
Do it. Do it.
They said it said do it. Now Rob Halford commented on this many times, and he's like, if we were so inclined to insert subliminal messages in our song, we would put commands for our fans not to kill themselves, but to go out and buy more copies of our albums.
Right.
He
Yeah.
said it really makes no sense for us to tell our fans to kill themselves. We're here to make money.
Yeah.
He also said "do it" had no direct message to do anything in particular. If that, and hey, look, if that's a
Succeed
killing
in
command-
life.
if
Do
that's
it.
a killing
Yeah.
command, Nike's in trouble right now.
Bake a cake. Do it.
Saying, Nike is in a lot of trouble, is all I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Right.
The court case was dismissed, but I don't know if you guys know this. They had to pay like $45,000 to the lawyer of the parents, but only
That is
because they
bullshit.
because they refused to turn over the masters for the recording. So because they refused to do that, they made them pay for the lawyer fees. But
Ugh.
it's ridiculous that this made it to trial. It's even
Right.
if I bet you somewhere in the backwards, if you really twist your brain, yeah, it probably does say "do it" or something close enough to it. But what does that matter?
Yeah.
What
It
does
sounds like
that mean?
two people who already had issues heard something
Mhm.
and then went, "Yep, let's do it."
Well, why? Now, in all
If
fairness,
that.
I'm sure there are those out there who can school me on this. We have some real big metal fans like Steve Barber. Steve, if you know, let me know. Spank Dog might even know. I haven't talked to Spanky about this, but it is very possible that there's like I don't know where they got the information that this song is what made these guys do it.
Yeah.
Like seriously though, I don't know.
There
Is
was a
there
3-year
information where-
time span
Like,
between
why do they
when
believe?
Yeah.
and when he died. Did he tell
Was
them?
it just they were fans of
do the
Judas
song?
Priest?
Could be.
Yeah.
I think the
Or
parents
did
were
he-
looking for a reason.
Pretty much.
Absolutely, because you
Yeah.
can't, because it's hard to admit maybe your kid
They
just
wanted
has problems.
somebody or something to blame.
Mhm.
Yes.
They're
And they
hurting,
found it.
and it's understandable, but
Yeah.
this is just dumb.
Yeah.
It is a little silly to say, oh, well, the song said "do it," and that's why they tried to off themselves. I'm like, the Nike commercial said "do it" too. Like, are you
Mhm.
doing that? Like, I don't understand. They put "just" in front of it, so maybe that's, I don't know.
Yeah.
So we have one more song to talk about on this, and this again is another very, very famous one. We're going to talk about Hotel California from the album Hotel California in 1977. This is the Eagles. Once again, I want to play you guys the clip. Matt, do you know what this one supposedly says?
No, not. I can't think think what it would be actually.
So this song has actually had a lot of comments made about it over the years as to what this song was about. And I always grew up Like we listened to the song in high school. It was we had a whole thing, and I mean, I was in high school in the '90s, but we listened to a lot of classic rock. I don't know what that was.
It's a
Well,
good song.
The Eagles
I
had the
was
Hell
always-
Freezes over tour in the '90s, so that's probably part of
That's
why.
true. That's true.
Mm.
But
They kind of
there
had
was
a resurgence for that.
Yeah.
we listened to a lot of like classic rock though in high school. I don't.
Everything's cyclical. It just came
I was
back.
always yes, absolutely everything's cyclical. I just said that on something the other day. Like everything's cyclical, guys. It's just the way it is.
Time. It's a flat circle.
I was always told that Forward, this song was about some evil shit. I was always told that it was about the Church of Satan. But that's apparently not at all true. The guys from the Eagles have been like, no, it's not at all. Do you want to know where that got started? Why it was supposedly about the Church of Satan? You guys take a guess.
Evangelicals.
The evangelicals. The evangelicals. One particular pastor actually came out and said, no, this song's about Anton LaVey bought a old hotel, abandoned hotel, and converted it in I think it was in LA, and converted it to the Church of Satan. And that's what these guys are singing about. It's not. They actually said they had memories of driving into LA late at night, and they would see this string of hotels lit up. None of them were from LA. They were like, we remember driving in and just seeing all these hotels lit up. And the song itself was kind of, they wanted to tell like this weird, like Twilight Zone story about a guy who enters this place and each room is just a little more strange than the last. And they were trying to get across like paranoia and claustrophobia and just the feeling of being trapped and not being able to escape. They've said a lot of this actually deals with the industry in general, the music industry, and how you just feel. And the Hotel California was actually about, a particular hotel, like I can't remember which one. And it had nothing to do with Satan in any way, shape, or form. And anything that people have like, the line, they stab it with their steely knives, but they just can't kill the beast, was actually supposedly a reference to Steely Dan, because Steely Dan had dropped an Eagles reference in one of their songs earlier. So they were kind of giving them a nudge back, that kind of stuff. So let's play the clip, the backwards clip from Hotel California. By the way, much like some of the other songs, this song has a lot. You can actually go online and listen to the entire song backwards with people putting what it supposedly says. But we're just going to play the one line. Once again, but play it. It'll go through once. There'll be a slight pause, and you'll hear it a second time. Here is the Eagles, Hotel California. And once again,
it's a
guys,
nice beat.
I only
and you can
hear
dance
it.
to it.
Mm-hmm.
I would have never listened to the song backwards and heard it had somebody not told me what to listen to. And you guys are both shaking your head like I don't hear it.
I
No.
don't hear it at all.
The
Something about
line
behind the
supposedly-
burning is something I could hear, but
see, it's all. Have you ever seen the thing where it's like, listen to this, and what word you're reading on the screen is what you're going to hear?
yep. And it changes
like
every
green
time.
leaf.
It
And
becomes
it's true.
Yeah.
When you read the word on the screen, you start hearing what it says, even though it's playing the same. It's like green leaf, and I don't remember what the three. It's like, and you're like, oh my god, it's true. What I'm reading is what I'm hearing. It's weird. So supposedly, what people hear there is Satan. He hears this. He made me believe. Satan. He hears this. He made me believe. Ready?
Okay, go for it. It's a stretch, but yeah.
That is
Satan hears this. He had me believe.
I made out Satan, but that was pretty much it.
Satan hears this.
I just-
He had me believe. Blah,
I
blah,
just
blah.
discovered that Wilson Phillips has covered Hotel California, and now I need to hear that. So
Did not know that existed.
that's a
So,
thing.
I
As
think
well
it
as Nancy Sinatra and the Gypsy Kings.
I think it just goes to show that you guys, unless you knew what it was,
Unless you're told by an evangelical what you're supposed to hear, that you wouldn't hear it.
and a lot of it, like he had me believe, and like there's stuff on that, so they cut it off in their own. Like, listen to it again. It says he had me believe at the last part, but there's more. So why did they cut it there and say, well, we heard the word believe? We cut off the other stuff in the word believe, but because we wanted it to say, like, listen. Believe me, like I don't. That's what I mean.
I'm just kind of digging that beat though. Just,
Yeah.
So oddly, because you said that, it became a very common practice.
He misses his old car.
Would hear.
I kind of do. That thing was like a freaking land yacht. That was huge. But going ahead. Sorry,
but people would hear cool backwards music and like use or reverse stuff just to use it in their actual tracks. So that became very common. Right? Like, oh, that beat sounds pretty cool backwards. Like they experimented. All these guys were experimenting with music.
Outcast,
but I think
Miss Jackson.
Oh yeah,
that entire drum beat is played in reverse.
Yeah, because it sounds cool, you know. And I think what's happening here is they're hearing words that are similar. Like you said, what if I heard satin?
Yeah.
But I thought the song was evil.
Right.
Well, satin's going to turn to Satan real quick in my brain. You know, it's if I want it to be that, it's going to be that. So let's real quick. I'm going to run over a couple of these real fast again. So Stairway to Heaven. Oh, here's to my sweet Satan. And remember, it's a weird song forward. So to me, that is the closest one to actually saying what they say it says. Oh, here's my sweet Satan. I can hear it, but let's be real quiet for a second and see if the words. When we hear the word Satan and we're told it says Satan, we hear it. But what if it's salmon? You know, but
here's
we
my sweet salmon.
Yeah,
maybe they just wanted you to eat fish. Get some omega-3s.
Salmon. No, that one I clearly hear. Here's to my sweet Satan. I think that song's just evil.
Maybe it's Satan, or like a meat substitute.
Yeah, it's like meat substitute. They're trying to get people to convert to
maybe
veganism.
They're Dragon Ball fans and they're referring to Hercule Satan.
Yeah.
Any Dragon Ball fans out there?
Now here's another thing. We can't deny the connection between Led Zeppelin and Aleister Crowley. There is that connection as well.
There is some connection to it. You're right. You are correct. And like I said, Stairway to Heaven.
We were on some spooky shit back then. So
Stairway to Heaven forward is not exactly bearing that it sounds a little demonic. You know, people are like, what's about heaven?
One of the songs, there's like very clear references to Lord of the Rings. Which song is that? From Led Zeppelin.
I don't know, but I'm not surprised.
Yeah, and it's not backwards. It's just straight up the lyrics. Like he literally talks about going down to the Shire and things like that.
Frodo of the Nine.
I'm gonna look it up because Led Zeppelin, Lord of the Rings song. What a song is that?
Song. You got to put song at the end, or else it's never gonna make sense.
Ramble On.
Ramble On.
I believe it's that. Yeah, Battle of Evermore. That's another song that they reference. Lord of the Rings.
That's my. That's the song I always use for my.
Over the Hills and Far Away.
So
it's literally a Tolkien poem.
I worked
called that.
Actually, I met Kevin when I worked for a mail order pharmacy.
Yeah, Misty Mountain Hop. Misty Mountain is straight up from Lord of the Rings.
Walking in the park, if you've never heard Four Non Blondes sing that song, you need to.
Linda Perry.
Go right now. It is.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
She destroyed. It is so good. I met him at a pharmaceutical company. Like we were
part of the show,
and I used to say how a lot of the drugs names just reminded me of Led Zeppelin songs, and people were like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "Well, right here's a drug called Tramadol." Tramadol. Tramadol. Like you can just put them in Led Zeppelin songs, and you're good. Yeah, I'm not going to play the El Dorado one again because to me that's no. Actually, this is a really good one. They say it says, "Here's the nasty one," and Christ, you're infernal. I want you to listen really closely to the "you're infernal" part because if you wanted to say infernal, you'll hear infernal, but it doesn't actually say that. It just sounds enough like it. It sounds like funal. I don't know. Listen and tell me.
Funeral.
It doesn't even say that.
Wow, that sounds painful.
Yeah.
It actually sounds like like a lot of Radiohead songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were they talking about Fernet, the Amaro bitter
Like, this could
aromatic
just be-
spirit from Italy?
I'm now convinced that Radiohead just took entire albums. Like, this sounds like a Radiohead song. I hear Christ, your phone off. More than I hear Christ, you're infernal. I hear phone off. And that's what I mean. Depending on what you want to hear, that's what you're going to fucking hear. If you want to hear it say infernal, you're going to hear infernal. If you want to hear marijuana, or it's fun to smoke marijuana, you're going to hear that one. Did sound a little like it's fun to smoke marijuana.
Yeah, it kind of sounded like they put it in there.
They didn't, but it does sound a little like, you know.
Country.
But this is, somebody needs to call Eminem, because I feel like that's his next song. Like, just play that in the background. Fun to smoke marijuana. You know, get
well, he just celebrated like 20 years of sobriety.
20 years of sobriety.
Yeah.
Well,
Surprising.
that was a joke anyway.
We
I'm
know.
saying, like,
Okay,
you call
yeah,
Brian May to have him play guitar on it, like, for him, or
That'd be awesome.
like, it's just ridiculous. Like, so what people want to hear. Speaking of which, I think it's hilarious. All these young, and I'm sorry guys, I'm not trying to bash on you, but all these millennials and Z's saying, like, God, have you heard this Eminem song and this music? And wait,
Trying to cancel Eminem.
did this no, not the cancel stuff. Did this other band has like, they don't understand that
God.
he sampled the music with permission.
They don't know
By
what
the way,
sampling is. Yeah.
apparently Steve
that's
Miller
adorable.
is on board for the Houdini song.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Because guess
apparently
what? His record sales go up now too.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
Mhm.
But I guess he did it with his blessing. It wasn't like Steve Miller's not aware of Houdini. These kids are like, this reminds me a lot of that of the Eminem song. We're like, are you for real? It should remind you of it. He even says abracadabra in it. Like, it's not. Oh God, kids, what are you gonna do? So there you go.
Referencing the Beatles one, "Turn Me On, Dead Man." There's a song by a band called the Union Underground from 2000 called "Turn Me On, Mr. Dead Man," where they are directly referencing that in the song. So,
where when it's when you play their song backwards, it says Revolution 9. Revolution.
Pretty much.
Revolution 9 is one of those tracks where I'm like, why did you include this? And please, nobody ever play this.
Yeah. Where's Revolutions 1 through 8?
Right.
Probably on the same album, played backwards.
Number 9. Like, there's a part in that song where it goes number. Like, you have a voice going through half the song going number 9. And dude, I'm like, clearly they were all thinking it was fun to smoke marijuana and some other things when they recorded it. It's a weird song.
Sitting there with Ravi Shankar playing sitars and just like, man,
Yeah.
we're all from India right now. Ooh.
That was a weird period. Although I did like some of the influences the music had on them, like life goes on within you, without you. Like, there's some. We are talking about the space between us all, and it's all that sitar. They had some cool influences because of that, but they were definitely tripping out a lot after that whole thing. Oh, good time. So those are just some of the kind of bigger ones where you've heard them referenced many, many times. Like I said, even Mr. Ed, I'm pretty sure that I've even heard rumors that Pee-wee's Playhouse backwards, apparently.
Let's get Cyndi Lauper on the phone and ask.
Well, she ain't right.
Cyndi Lauper and Danny Elfman.
Danny Elfman, he's to blame. I mean, you know how he is.
He is his own Muppet.
He is his own Muppet. That should be the name of his autobiography. I am my own Muppet.
My own Muppet.
Amazing.
That's a weird thing there too, because he's married to Bridget Fonda.
Yeah.
Really?
So she got injured. I don't know if people know, she messed up her back really bad and then left acting. And she doesn't look like Bridget Fonda anymore. That sounds like I'm being cruel, and I don't mean to be. She's gained a lot of weight, but like face doesn't even look like her anymore. And she's very much out of the public eye.
I saw that picture the other day. Okay, I didn't know that's who that was.
And she got encountered by some like paparazzi,
crazy.
not like within the last couple of years, and they asked her if she was going to go back to acting, and she's like, "No, I have no interest." And it's just weird because I think they're still married. They're still married, right? As far as I know,
So,
they're
yeah.
still married.
Yeah.
And
looks
he's
like it.
so like in the public eye, but you never see her like she does not want to be.
Yeah.
And then he went all full carrot top on us and got buff as shit, but with that crazy hair.
Yeah.
He looks evil. I love Danny Elfman, but he looks pure.
It is a weird look.
So
Yeah.
you know about Jenna Elfman, right?
Yeah.
From
I know
Dharma
who
and
she
Grey.
is. And
Yeah.
and Fear the Walking Dead most recently, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. She is, I guess, like hang on, what is she? She's related to Danny Elfman.
Danny, is she?
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's interesting.
Father-in-law.
Really?
Yeah. Or uncle-in-law, I guess. Richard Elfman is her father-in-law. Danny is her uncle-in-law.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. Richard Elfman. He'd
Jenna
be
Elfman.
fun to have on the show.
I always liked her a lot. I love
That'll be discussed in the future, by the way.
I love
Benzo.
we watched so we've been doing this thing. We put together a list of movies that we feel like my daughter needs to see. My wife is doing it primarily. Like we're just constantly watching movies. Like last night, although this could be a whole discussion in and of itself. Last night she made her watch Romy and Michelle, which I think is clearly someone trying to do a female version of Dumb and Dumber and not doing it well.
Yeah.
I don't think Romy and Michelle. It's an interesting movie to watch, but there's no point. There's no point and no real story arc or character arc at all. It's a weird movie. But one of the movies that we had both told her she needed to watch, we watched a couple weeks ago, and that's Can't Hardly Wait. I love Jenna Elfman in Can't Hardly Wait. And I was telling my daughter, I was like, these are these like 90s, early 2000s, like
They're a time capsule.
they're so much fun to watch now. They're just really fun to watch. So yeah, we've been my wife's like, and you know what else is on your list? It's Pretty Woman. I was like, you don't need to watch that. I don't know if you guys know this. I notoriously rip on Pretty Woman.
Mm-hmm.
A movie that tried to convince us that being a hooker would get you Richard Gere. Seems like we're not telling the best life lessons, my friend.
Yeah. And in the book version of that, she gets dropped back off on the corner and goes right back
in
to her
the
life.
original movie script, she gets shoved out of the car and he throws money at her, which I would probably like that movie better because at least like
It'll be more realistic.
the first thing that movie lied to us was convincing us that any street hooker looked like 90s Julia Roberts, because that didn't happen. It's like I'll tell this real quick story, then my portion of the today is done. Back in the 90s, it would have been 90s, probably late 90s. Had a discussion that I had never seen a hooker. Like I've never, because we were talking about.
I was wondering where this was going because I'm like,
being downtown.
is this the story of Jay picking up a prostitute? Is that what we're hearing?
No.
Almost.
Yeah, kinda. No,
Okay.
His name was Raul.
His name was Russell.
So we were, me and a buddy of mine were driving around one night, and I don't know how the subject got brought up, but I was like, I've never seen like a hooker on the street, and he's like, yeah, you have. I'm like, no, I haven't. He's like, yeah, you have. I'm like, dude, I'm telling you, I haven't. He's like, I'm gonna prove to you, you have. So he pulls over to a crappy part of Hamilton, which is
Hamilton, Ohio.
right by me, and we're driving
Yes.
down the street, and he goes, there you go. I was like, that's not a hooker. That's just some lady out wearing like sweatpants. He goes, that's a hooker. I'm like, all I knew from hookers was what I've seen in TV and movies, and they dress like all like hookers. He's like, that's a hooker. I was like, no, it's not. He goes, dude. He pulls the car over, and she starts walking up to my window, and I freak out. I'm like, drive. Dude, that's when I learned that dudes will pay for anything. Oh my God, she was nasty. And I'm like, so that's what hookers really look like? I mean, I was pretty young and naive, but movies always taught us
She's probably still working that corner.
she's probably still there 30 years later. Well, movies always taught us that they were wearing fishnets and high heels and little crop
Right.
tops. And apparently that's just not the real life case.
Well, if you go to Washington, D.C., yes, because on a family reunion, I do remember seeing a
Big
bunch of
hookers.
hookers in like
Hookers.
full lingerie. Yeah.
At our family reunion, we
They-
picked
yeah.
up some hookers and
They were the guests at the white party.
Yeah.
So good. That's so good. I'll tell one more fun hooker story because why not now? So my uncle.
I feel like I'm the
uncle
only
had
one
it-
without a hooker story.
You don't have a fun hooker story?
What
My
have
uncle
you done with your life? Come on.
Nothing, apparently. Yeah.
My uncle had this car with like that. It was like a show car, and he had like dark tinted windows.
Oh no. This
We're
is gonna end up with
downtown.
somebody in a trunk.
No.
Okay.
We're in downtown Denver, and he sees a hooker, and it's like I'm in the car, his wife's in the car. I think my sister was in the car, like, but we're on the back seats and shit. So I'm not making this up. He was like, "Watch this, guys," and he pulls up to this hooker. He goes, "Just go with me," and he cracks the window about like, "Yay," and he's like, "Hey, how much?" And as she turns her head, he rolls down all the windows and goes, "For all of us."
Oh God.
And I mean,
Oh no.
I'm like young. We're like young, so it's like, oh, you creep. You got like teenagers in the car, and your wife. Yeah, then he just drove off. Yeah, that's a true story. That's a true
God.
story. Mhm.
Jeez.
He's like, "Zzz, how much? Zzz, for all of us." She might have
Family
answered.
night.
He probably answered. We just 45. That would have been Hamilton. 6 people, $45.
Oh God.
So that's our backmasking episode, guys. I hope you
Yeah.
hope
Check
you
out our
enjoy it.
sponsor, bustedtees.com, where I'm sure they have some shirts about backmasking and hookers.
They might.
Yeah, they
I
might.
don't know if they have hooker
Yeah.
shirts. I hope so. I'm gonna go check it out now.
If
and see
not,
if
they
they
need to
do.
get on that
And
immediately.
if you do, use our code Jason
25945.
Yep, that
Jason
number.
25945, all one word, all caps. We'll get
Put
you
it down
10%.
below.
Yeah.
Just check out the video we're gonna put in right after this, and you'll see
You
all
should
that.
you should go over there and check them out. They got some really fun stuff over there. They have a shirt that I want really bad that I'll probably end up buying. It's just a shirt, and all it says on the front is, "Surely not everyone was kung fu fighting." I just love it so much. I don't know why this shirt strikes me funny as hell, but everybody was kung fu. If we haven't mentioned it enough, you're watching this on YouTube, maybe you're listening, but we are on YouTube. We do all this video format now, so you can go over and check us out there. Is it just at the mixtape?
Yep, at the Mixtape Podcast.
At the Mixtape Podcast is our handle. The @ symbol, the Mixtape Podcast. If you do a search for that over on YouTube, it'll take you right to us. At the Movie Mix 76 is my other show. It's short format. Couple times a week I talk about upcoming movie news, and occasionally Matt and I do a real talk. We just haven't had time to do one. We have 2 lined up right now.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about the Hellboy franchise, and we're going to talk about the Alien franchise because Romulus looks badass.
Yes, it does.
So real talk is just a show where Matt and I, so far, basically we've discussed different film franchises and where we think they're going and where we think they should go. And
Usually when
long
a new installment is coming out.
it's a little bit of a longer format. We've done we did Beetlejuice, and we've done the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and
Tron.
Yeah, so you should go over and check that. We had a Bloomhouse episode.
Yeah.
Talked about Bloomhouse and some upcoming projects. So you can go over and check all that out. That again, if you do a search at the Movie Mix 76, you'll find that as well. So we are on YouTube. You can check us out over there. There's been some light discussions in the background, some possible changes coming, possible big changes coming. I don't know. The 3 of us will discuss some more, see where we decide to go. But yeah, we hope to have some people on. We've been talking to Aaron from Horror Hound, and we're probably going to do something with him that'll probably be all YouTube kind of thing. But we're either going to watch a movie with him, or we may have him on for the alien thing. I think he might be.
We're definitely going to have to do Tammy and the T-Rex.
Tammy and the T-Rex is the movie we've been talking about watching, which just looks absolutely stupid. And so
it is.
Is that with Whoopi Goldberg?
No, that's that's Theodore Rex.
Theodore Rex. Oh, that's another
Okay.
awful one we should watch.
Tammy
too.
and the T-Rex is
Denise Richards and Paul Walker.
Richards. And it's the brain of her boyfriend gets put into an animatronic T-Rex.
And it's as bad as you think it
Somebody
is.
said that's a good idea for a movie.
Yeah.
Love
One
it.
of the most batshit insane endings too, by the way. Just
I did a
weird.
I did a one of my videos over on the Movie Mix was me talking about the upcoming Jurassic Park film, which I'm super excited about, by the way. It just sounds fantastic so far. But people were like, there was originally Jurassic Park 3. There was discussion about doing a dinosaur human hybrid.
I've been hearing that for years.
That got scrapped, right? Real maybe. I was like, I say in my video, and if you want to see a dinosaur human hybrid, I don't know, watch Velocipaster. You'll watch that. It's out there. You can watch Velocipasters.
Oh.
All right, guys. Thank you all for joining us again. We really appreciate it. We love all you guys. Thank you. Thank you for downloading. Thank you for putting up with us for all these years.
Yes.
we appreciate all that. And we'll be back in a couple of weeks with another topic. We have 3 or 4 topics that we have been discussing that will be coming. We have movies where the sequel is better than the original, or we thought the sequel was better than the original. We have the one we've been talking about forever. It's in the works. I've actually started doing the notes on it, where movie sucked, but the soundtrack is worth it.
Yep.
Like this movie sucks incredibly, but at least we got this great soundtrack out of it. And that one's actually almost finished. That may be one of the next ones we record, because I have that one. I have most of the movies we thought the sequel was better, except Matt never gave me his list, so I don't have his.
I'm gonna have to get that together. Yeah, I thought I did.
Kevin, where
it's probably left in a note somewhere on my phone,
where we think that the sequel was better than the original movie. And that's tough. That doesn't happen often, but it does happen occasionally, where I think movies good, movies really good, and then they release a sequel. And I like that, because some of them can be argued. Like if somebody says Terminator 2 is better than Terminator, there's a lot of argument to be made. Either way, Aliens is better than Alien. I actually like Aliens better, but it doesn't mean I would say it's a better movie. So that's the kind of topics we can have, like discussions we can have. And a few more that we have been discussing lining up. So
I know there's one that's been requested from specifically you and I a long time ago. We just have never done it. We need to do that one. It's the Christian music episode.
Oh, the Christian music episode.
Yeah.
I just don't know if I want to go make
back and listen to that.
I don't know if I want to listen to it and feel depressed. And then I'm gonna have to listen to it backwards.
Oh yeah. See if they're actually telling us that they're good people.
Yeah. Jesus is good. I heard Jesus is goat. That's what I heard.
Black Phillip.
Yeah. Oh, I worship my sweet Jesus.
It's terrible. And on that note,
I think we're done. Thank you guys for listening, and remember, until next time, to always
stay awesome.
Where's my sweet Jesus? I wish I just
cut.
Head over to bustedtees.com. Find all your geeky apparel, t-shirts, hats, stickers, socks, whatever, with cool game and movie and TV inspired stuff on it. I promise you're going to like this stuff. And at checkout, if you use my code Jason25945, you're going to get 20% off. That's bustedtees.com. Promotional code Jason25945.
Make sure to follow us on social media. We are on Facebook at Tapeworms, fans of the Mixtape Podcast. Check us out on Instagram. Follow on TikTok as well. You can follow us on X, formerly known as Twitter. And don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube. And if you like the show, don't forget to like, comment, and share the show with your friends. And as always, stay awesome,